at Radio Row. This is kind of a yearly tradition with the president of AEW as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tony Khan. Tony, how you been?
Been fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. The Hurt Syndicate is walking around. They're here. You have a bunch of guys here. Just how exciting is it for you guys to get out here to Radio Row?
I love having AEW come out and meet everybody. We have a great group here. And like you said, the World Tag Team Champions of AEW, the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, along with MVP. They are here in the house at Radio Row. All the great stars of AEW are descending on New Orleans, and AEW, we're having a really exciting time in the business right now. The company's really hot. It's been really an exciting thing. You know, we launched on streaming with Max, and every Wednesday we're on TBS, every Saturday we're on TNT for Pro Wrestling AEW. But now we stream the show on Max live too, and we are uploading a library of content, classic AEW content from over the years, and we're uploading more and more piece by piece. It's a really exciting time in AEW, and I'm pumped about it. And I thought last night's show on Wednesday Night Dynamite was one of the best shows we ever did. The crowd in Atlanta was red hot, and I'm really excited to come to LA for AEW Revolution March 9th at the Crypto Arena at the former Staples Center. I have been to so many games and events there over the years. I am an LA guy, and I'm really excited to go back for Revolution.
You didn't mention the biggest news. You're headed to Australia, down under.
Yes.
In a couple of weeks.
It's going to be huge.
How exciting is that? Because you guys have taken it international. You guys are all over the place. Just how exciting is it to go down under?
It's going to be the biggest collision of all time in Australia, and it's next Saturday. It's after NBA All-Star Saturday, coming up with a great lead-in, AEW Saturday Night Collision. Our biggest episode ever is Grand Slam Australia, the first ever AEW show in Australia. And the rematch fans have been wanting to see since AEW All In London Wembley Stadium. Mariah May, the Glamour, the AEW Women's World Champion, the former protege in the rematch versus the former mentor, Timeless Toni Storm, the former world champion and Hollywood's greatest actress. And what a performance Timeless Toni Storm put on last night on Wednesday Night Dynamite in the role of the Glamour Mariah May, in the role of the champion, as Mariah looked on, seething in fury and rage. And I thought it was quite fitting that Toni portrayed someone she is not, Mariah, after Mariah portrayed someone she is not to get in Toni's good graces, ripped from All About Eve and inspired by. I thought that it was very fitting when Mariah was the one who conned Toni, when Mariah pretended to be a big Toni Storm fan and worked her way into Toni's good graces, became her personal assistant, became her protege, and earned Toni's trust, and eventually stabbed her in the back, took everything from her, took her championship. And I cannot wait for the rematch after Mariah took the championship from Toni in Mariah's home country, London, in England, in Mariah's hometown in London, in her home country of England. I can't wait for Toni to get the rematch in her home country, Australia, at Grand Slam Collision next Saturday. And also, like you said, it's a big deal. We're going to Australia. What a big deal to have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay teaming for the first time against the international champion, Konosuke Takeshita, and Australia's own Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, no, exciting times. And going back to the Hurt Syndicate, I got to ask you, Bobby Lashley spear. That has to be the most lethal one out there, don't you think? I mean, he hasn't aged. He looks I think he looks better as he keeps on getting older. I think the better he's looking, don't you?
Bobby Lashley is amazing. He's a great champion in AEW. He is absolutely deadly out there. So
looks great in a suit too.
He looks fantastic. You've seen him walking here with the championship belt.
3 buttons down, Tony. 3 buttons down. They're opened up. 3 buttons.
He looks excellent. But he's deadly in the ring, and I think the top 2 spears in wrestling would be certainly Cope, the Rated R superstar, and Bobby Lashley. They would have to be at the top of the active top stars in wrestling, and they've both been great champions. Bobby Lashley, currently World Tag Team Champion with Shelton Benjamin, and also, of course, Adam Copeland, Cope, the Rated R Superstar, the 2-time TNT champion in AEW.
You know, and that's what I wanted to ask you. You've brought in a lot of leadership into AEW. Cope, obviously, everybody knows. He's been a leader for years. He's a guy that takes guys to the side and says, hey, maybe you should do this, that. Bobby is exactly the same way. Just what has it been like to have those guys around your locker room?
Well, for years, we've had great veterans in AEW, starting with Chris Jericho, who's a great person from the launch of AEW from the very start and helped us get it off the ground, and then had so many great veterans with a lot of experience. Jon Moxley over the years, he's the only person to ever be New Japan IWGP World Champion, the WWE World Champion, and the AEW World Champion.
I would never look him in the eye, by the way.
The 6-time champion,
Jon Moxley. I ain't looking him in the eye. That dude, he's crazy. John's got something. I would just be like, yes, John, how are you doing?
You're scared of the AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley?
I am.
Okay, he's
every time I see him, he's bleeding. Like there's something. He's got blood coming down his face. He's crazy.
I think. That's why he came out to Wild Thing, and that's why he's the AEW World Champion.
But my bad, I interrupted you. I just had to throw it out there.
I appreciate what you're saying. No, it's true, and I do think when you look at it. In AEW, he's at the top of the heap, the AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, and he's the man. And from the beginning, he's been a great influence. And like you said, talking about great veterans like Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Syndicate, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, so many great veterans, even going back to Sting, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, who retired in AEW as an undefeated champion.
No, he's one of the best. Speaking of that, what did you make of what MJF said last night to Dustin? What did you make of that?
I'm very excited for that match coming up on Wednesday on Dynamite. Dustin Rhodes versus MJF.
Dustin's another guy that he just keeps on getting better with age. He's been around the wrestling business for years, and that's another good one that you hear about the leadership and everything. So.
He's a great leader in the locker room. And you're absolutely right. That's a fantastic point. Dustin Rhodes is one of the all-time greats, and he's also somebody who's been with us from day one, from our very first show. Dustin Rhodes is a great star in AEW, and he's a leader in and out of the ring, in the ring and backstage. And I can't wait for Dustin Rhodes versus MJF in Dustin's hometown this week on Wednesday Night Dynamite.
That's going to be fun.
On TBS and Max. Can't wait for that show. And we just had a fantastic show last night on Dynamite, I think.
I saw you used Red Hot Lana. I saw exactly the way you went with that. I like that.
Thank you.
Because Atlanta's Hot Lana. Everybody knows how much fun. Lou Williams a couple years ago showed us how fun Atlanta could be. But Tony, Mercedes Moné, she just seems like she's collecting all the belts. And what has her addition meant to your guys' company?
Mercedes Moné is a fantastic TBS champion, and she's a champion all over the world now. She's a great wrestling star, and I have to say Mercedes Moné is one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen. And she is a great star for AEW. She's the face of TBS Network, the Superstation. And going into AEW Grand Slam Australia will be very interesting because it looks like quite a rivalry developing with Australia's own Harley Cameron.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Tony, jumping over to the football side of it, Liam Coen is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. By the way, you have your hat in so many different places. You're a busy guy, I know, so I appreciate you jumping on with us. Why Liam Coen?
Liam Coen is a fantastic coach, and when you look at the things he brought to the offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you look at the statistics, I mean, it's so impressive, the leaps and bounds that the team improved by on offense, and then when you meet him in person, when you talk to him on a Zoom and you meet him in person and get to know him, he's such an impressive person. He's got such a command of the sport. He's from a football family, a football background, and he's a great person, and I think he's a great leader. He's connected with our players. When you see the connection he's already built with people around the building, and I'm very excited about it. You know, we had a great turnout from the Jaguars leaders, talking to Liam, and now with Tony Baselli, a great USC star and a great Jaguars star, the first ever Jaguars draft pick, and the first ever Jaguar in the Hall of Fame. to have Tony Baselli join our front office, teaming with us too, I think it's going to be fantastic. And Liam Coen is setting up a great staff and setting up the team for success in Jacksonville.
What did you think of his Duval?
It was interesting.
We're going to work on it?
Oh, I think he's like, it's, he's a rookie. He's a
That's
Duval.
right. That's
He's a
true.
Duval rookie.
Can you give us one?
Duval.
There you go. I love that. Tony, it must be easy to sell the Jaguars with the quarterback that you have in Trevor Lawrence. And then obviously Brian Thomas Jr., that was a hell of a pickup
Absolutely
for
great.
you guys. But just what have you made of that duo right there?
Well, that's a fantastic duo right there to have one of the top young quarterbacks in the sport, Trevor Lawrence, who's done so many impressive things in his career, and we really believe is the franchise, the future and the present of the Jaguars. And to have Brian Thomas Jr., like you said, he was a fantastic draft pick, and we acquired a great young player. And to have a top young quarterback and a top young wide receiver, I am very excited about that. And I think Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., we want these guys playing together for us for years under Coach Liam Coen in Jacksonville for the Jaguars.
Have you ever, I know you mixed them a couple of years ago, the Jacksonville and AEW. Have you thought about doing more of that, or is it kind of you try and keep both things?
Well, we're traveling with AEW. We go to all these great places. I always love when we can go back to Jacksonville, and that's a home to us in many ways. So it's really great. But
I just meant like mixing the athlete, like both athletes, like some Jacksonville Jaguar players and some AEW stars. Or?
Well, you got to protect the health of the great
That's
athletes, but at some point we could cross the streams. It's very exciting with AEW and the Jags.
Last question for you. The big news this week, obviously, Luka Doncic getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. What do you think that kind of brings to the purple and gold?
Well, I think that's a huge, huge pickup for the Lakers. And now Mark Williams joined the Lakers, and so a lot of great things happening for the Lakers right now. Really excited to see how that turns out, and really excited to come back to the crypto.com arena.
You can
You're
invite
all
Luka.
Invited. You're all invited.
You should invite Luka also.
All the Lakers, everybody's invited. You're invited. You guys are all invited. I'll see you all March 9th.
There you go. And then you're going down under. Then you're headed back to LA. A great time right now.
I can't wait.
Tony, thank you so much for jumping on with us.
It was great to see you.